everyone, and welcome back to this tutorial series. In this video, we would be learning about the different data types in Python. So let's start with the one you're already familiar with. So the first type that we have is an integer, and it is written as int in Python. So an integer is a value which is a number. A number which can either be negative or it can be positive, but it cannot have a decimal point. So even something like 12.0, this is not an integer, and this is something else which we will discuss later. So some examples for integers are 0, 1, 2, -12, 34, etc. So these are all integers, but anything with a decimal point becomes a float, and that is what we would be talking about next. So the next thing that we would learn about is float. So a float is any number which has a decimal point. So something like 12.0, as I gave you an example. Pi 3.14 is a float. It can also have negative values, -3.68. All of this becomes a float or a floating point decimal. So anything with a decimal point becomes a float, while without a decimal point, any number remains integer. Okay, so the next data type that we would be learning about is called a string. So a string is a collection of different characters. By characters, I mean the alphabets that you see, A, B, C, D, E, F, and different characters of different languages, special characters like asterisk, hashtag, @, exclamation mark, tilde. You get the idea, basically. So a string is always declared inside either quotation marks or inverted commas, or we declare them with 3 inverted commas or 3 quotation marks like this, and it's also ended with 3 quotation marks like this. So these are the different ways you can declare a string in Python. So inside it, even if I write a number like 12, let's say, inside these quotation marks, then this becomes a string, not an integer, even though it shall be, but it's not. And we can write names here. So any name, I'm not writing my name, any name becomes a string. For example, John, that's a string. Now let's try to understand why you would need to use any of these string types. So first let's understand these, and then we would get to these ones. Let's say that you want to write something like I apostrophe M, and then you want to close it. Now what happens here is when the interpreter reads your code, it scans it this way, and when it sees that a string is opening here, and when it reaches this quotation mark, this inverted comma, it thinks that the string has closed, and there is this undefined piece of code right here which it does not understand. So it would just throw an error at you at this point, and this would cause problems in your code. So if you want to use inverted commas, solution is simple. You use the quotation marks. I am like this. And if you want to use quotation marks, similarly you use inverted commas. But if you want to use both inverted commas and quotation marks, you use these ones. But they have another advantage. anything you format in them would print out exactly as you formatted it. So what I mean by that is that, let's say you have these opened here, and you've written ABC here, and in the next line after this much space you've written oops, my handwriting. You've written D, E, F. So this space would be duplicated exactly as you had written it. So all the formatting would remain the same. We have another type which is called a bool or a boolean. So a bool is a value which is either true or false. So we would be doing this specifically in module 3, but I'm just giving you a little hint here. We have a few more data types that we would learn about later in the course. So for now, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I would see you in the next one. Goodbye.